Well, hey everyone, welcome to Tackle TV season 2020. The good news, you don't like the show, there might only be one show. The bad news for everyone who don't like the show, we hopefully get another 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. I'm going to waffle on about football. We're going to take some of your best questions. I'm going to take some of your worst questions as well. I'm going to start with Brian. Bombers should win the flag from here. What? Gills close it down. We are robbed. Well, you might be a young fella. No, not with Brian. You're not going to be a young fella. You're going to be an older fella in life. Come on, Brian. That is ridiculous. The Bombers were okay. They won the game, which is good. Relaxed a little bit. The Dockers came back. To be honest, if the game went for another 3 minutes, I think the Bombers were in strife. They ran out of puff. Fremantle got all the momentum. Fair income, though. What about Fremantle? One of my dislikes today was Fremantle. Fremantle, the pressure rating in grand finals was about 220. Collingwood went in about 230 against the Bulldogs on Friday night. We'll talk about that in a second. This is the pressure index, which is how champion data monitors or assesses the amount of pressure a team puts on the opposition. Collingwood, unbelievable on Friday night. Fremantle went at 148, 145, 136. 136, I'll give you some impression what 136 pressure. I wrote today, it's as though they were playing in dinner suits and they didn't want to get them dirty. 136. In the last quarter, they came at Essendon. They had 1.73. They laid 33 tackles, 15 and come in the last quarter. What were they doing for the other three quarters? It was like they were upmarket, up-tempo pre-season games, some of them. I thought that on Friday night. I went along to the G on Friday night, really weird. Took a couple of videos. If you saw them on social media, well and good. If you didn't miss much. Certainly footy's not made for the 400 or 500 people are there working, and that includes all the coaches. Oh, the coaches would have enjoyed it. Support staff, all the media and security guard. There was no atmosphere. Being on the fence, listen to all the players talking. Nathan Broad and Dylan Grimes did not shut up for Richmond. But it was really, really weird. There was no sense of excitement. The game was blown away. I reckon the Tigers, they hung up the cue. And the Blues came back. And I think they went down by four goals in the end. They laid 23 tackles, Carlton. 23 tackles. Sydney, St Kilda laid 72. And Carlton laid 23. Now, there's got to be a reason for that. Now, I lead my tackle with Carlton this morning, right? And all the Carlton people get upset. No, they get upset about everything Carlton. They think everyone bashes Carlton for the hell of it. The expectation on Carlton this year, compared to the previous 3 years, was pretty strong. Now, just because we're having shortened quarters of 16 plus time on, that doesn't mean the very fabric of the game changes. They've got the ball, you've got the ball, and the ball's in dispute. And when the ball's in dispute, you've got to fight for it. When they've got the ball, you've got to put pressure on, you've got to lay tackles. When you've got the ball, you've got to move as quick as you can and stop them from tackling you and putting pressure. Carlton laid 23 tackles. Either David Teague had a game plan which didn't revolve around tackling. A former player at Carlton said to me that he believed that Teague was trying to stretch the ground. You know, in other words, don't have as many people around the context, get people spread out over the field, move the ball. And that's fine. That could contribute to some of the tackling numbers being low. But dead set, 23, you're kidding. Is the game changing that much? You know, every year coaches come in with new plans and this is how they're going to revolutionise the game. We've seen it. If I tell you, we start revolutionising the game with 23 tackles, it's not even a combat sport anymore. I was really disappointed with Carlton, really disappointed. But I wasn't as disappointed as I was in the Western Bulldogs. I had them fourth at the start of the ladder. I'm not angry because of my tip. I'm angry because of the performance they put up. I sat with Luke Beveridge 4 weeks ago, Coach's Day in the media, sat with him for an hour and a half. We spoke about a lot of things. He brought up the fact, well, I brought it up and he explained at length about, he called it the elephant in the room. They lost to the Giants in the elimination final last year. They're beaten up at the contest. They're beaten up off the contest. They went after Marcus Bontempelli. the coach said, I'd been spoken about. He said, I really enjoy it. The players are going to respond to this. When you look at the performance on Friday night, I don't know if you can sit there and say it was a soft performance. Because what happened, Collingwood's pressure was so much, the Dogs' midfield just collapsed under the heat. They had no room to move. The Pies didn't give the Dogs any space to go left or right. The short stuff, and then they get rolling. None of that. They just shut them down. It was an awesome performance. And to be honest, the worst performance in the weekend was from the Dogs. Don't blame the forwards. The ball didn't go in. What did they have, 20-odd inside 50s? Don't blame the defence. They were trying to stop a tsunami. I'm surprised. I'm very, very surprised. Let me just go to this. The Herald Sun's moved the results. They didn't tell me. There we go. Super ladder. The Pies kicked 13 goals, 8. It felt like watching it. It was 23 goals, 8. It was just an absolute slaughter. It was embarrassing, actually. That's what it was. Now, every dog supporter will say, stop bashing our club. But if you sit there and realise and have a Fennington conversation with yourself, with your fellow doggies fans, that was embarrassing. They got 8, 10, 12 weeks to sit on that, to think about it. They've got to get it out of their heads. Bevo's got to just, right, we're going to review this, put up all those bad highlights, show them all, get it out of your heads, because if that's weighing you down for the next 12 weeks, God almighty. Oh. Scott. What about the pathetic effort from Geelong? Didn't even think that. Only laid 6 more tackles than Carlton. That's pathetic. 29 tackles they laid. 29. Easy target, the Blues. Put the blowtorch on those imposters down the highway for once. It's hard to put the blowtorch on Geelong because they've been such a successful team for the last 10 years. Every year they give themselves a shot at the title. Problem is they do come up short in finals. Last year, they were, Gary Ablett kicks a goal in the last quarter. They would have got in front of Geelong, got in front of Richmond. Anyway, fell short. Richmond ran away, won by about 3 goals. It was really interesting. I watched the game on the weekend. I thought it was the best game. 29 tackles is not good enough. It's just not good enough in basically three quarters of footy. Radigalia, he's a highlight reel, but he doesn't get enough pill. Darcy Fort was pretty good in the ruck. Sam Jacobs was outstanding. Darcy Fort, looking forward to the Coaches Association votes this afternoon, actually, to work out whether they gave it to Don't Play the Ferryman or Toby Green or Sam Jacobs. Jacobs was massive, but I thought Darcy Fort was okay. Imposters. Geelong imposters. Now, I reckon that's harsh. Imposters. I think they're going to have a challenging year. But they were in it. They were pretty good on the weekend, the Giants. I think they were pretty lucky. I won't say lucky. They did a pretty good job to stay so close, Geelong. They were really, really good. Anyway, Scott, no prize for you. This is from Rob. The games resemble nothing more than practice matches this season should never have gone ahead. No, I disagree with that. I think most people would disagree with that. As a compromise, yeah. I mean, this is life. We've got to move. Whatever life throws at us all individually, collectively, you just got to move and go with the flow. You know, you got to make the right decisions at the right time. Get in, get out. The AFL's done that. I got no problem with what the AFL did. People I've spoken to, which included my dentist this morning, who's a mad Collingwood supporter, is really upset that the season's off because after Friday night he thinks that they're going to win the flag, even though it's 1 round down. I thought Friday night was a practice match, to be honest. Up-tempo match simulation. Started watching Port Adelaide and Gold Coast and had to turn it off. I thought I was going to be ill. Some of the matches were pretty good. I enjoyed St Kilda and we'll get on to Saints in a second. I enjoyed it, but I didn't see much of the last 2 games because the events of yesterday sort of took your mind away. There was bigger things at play. Practice matches, yeah, I'm not opposed to that. I'm not opposed. They all went like that. But I thought some of them went. Anyway, Greg, all the hype has been about the Bulldogs. How were they on Friday night? Port of the team to make giant strides up the ladder with the best bunch of under-23s in the comp. Desmond Butters, Rosie, and now Georgiades. And are they all going to be stars in the AFL? And no, I'm not basing these comments on the mauling of a pathetic Suns team on the weekend. The classy young players are there for all to see. It's just Victorian media haven't acknowledged it yet. We have been talking about Port's kids all last year. Dersma, Butters. How can you not talk about Connor Rosie? I wrote about Connor Rosie this morning. The guy is going to play more midfield. He had really his first season was largely as a small forward. He went in the midfield on the weekend. He's going to be a hell of a player. Absolutely hell of a player. They were pathetic, the Suns. I think it was their third lowest score in the history of their game. They went in young though. It's going to be a year, another development year, and everyone's going to say, how long can we have these development years? Well, where they've come from to where they are now is a lot better than what they were 2 years ago. And I hope that makes sense because they are taking giant strides. The problem is they had a really two good games in the Mars series. I think it was Geelong and Adelaide. Win. They get to Port and they just weren't ready. They weren't ready for everything that Port threw at them. And dead set that second half, it was 1 goal 10 versus 1 goal 3 or something. You've got to be kidding. Everyone criticises the AFL women for having low scoring. This is senior men's football. And it was. I'm going to get this right, actually. I'm going to get it right. So the second half of a senior men's football game was 1 goal 3 to 1 goal 10. And all you Neanderthal men out there, don't all take offence because you're all not like that, but you know who you are. The women scored more than that in the weekend in a lot of games. No good. Alex. So of all the games played, you chose to make it about Carlton again. So everyone thinks at Carlton, or people at Carlton, or people who play for Carlton, think that I always bash Carlton. For 2.5 years, 3 years, I was supportive of Carlton. Under Brendan Bolton and what they did, time, be patient. Everyone else is kicking the crap out of them. I'm saying be patient. Now, I've turned up in the heat a couple of times in the last 12 months, leading up to when Brendan Bolton was sacked. I thought under David Teague, the Blues were really good. But I'll say it again, 23 tackles in a game of football. 23. That's backyard. No, actually, backyard footy with your mates is harder and tougher than that because they actually pile on and want to hurt you. But 23 tackles? Sorry, Alex. If they lay 23 tackles in round 2, whenever that's played, I'll probably get into them again. But I'll finish the question. We played the reigning premier missing just one player, yet had no McKay, Betts, Charlie. McKay's played 20 games. He's a really promising player. Betts is 33. And Charlie's played some good footy, but not so good footy. Don't think McKay will lay a tackle. I don't know if Charlie's being on tackle, and Betts will chase and harass. You got to save face by highlighting one of the great debuts for a new club in Jack Martin, but you saved your critique for the dislike section instead. Jack Martin was outstanding. But come Monday, Alex, people have spoken about Jack Martin all weekend. We spoke about him on radio on Saturday. We spoke about him on radio Friday. We spoke about him on radio Sunday. He's in the newspapers Saturday and Sunday. You want to go again on the Monday? You probably, Alex, send me a message saying, why are you talking about Jack Martin again? Got to share the love and to share the dislikes. Alan. Yes, Robbo, this is from Alan. Yes, Robbo, we were mediocre in that area, but that is easily rectified. What is of concern and has been for years and hasn't improved are our skills. Just constantly missing targets by hand and foot is extremely frustrating. When that play of our game improves, so too will Carlton. There's no doubt about that because if your skill level improves, you've got your ability to keep the pill from delivering it from A to B, by hand, by foot. Your skills of marking the ball improve. You will keep more of the ball. Now, if you keep more of the ball, that means opposition haven't got it as much, so you got sort of more control. The skill level. Skill level's just okay. You're right, it's just okay. Who is the best kick at Carlton? Right, who's the best kick at Carlton? What jumps out? I thought Doherty was really, really good in his first game back. He uses the ball pretty well. Got better as the game went on. Adam Simpson. What's Simo's first name? Thanks you. Cade Simpson's. He's been a really pretty good kicker, solid kick. Who is your best kick in the team? We might sit on that. I've got to go through the list. Fisher? I heard Fisher from the newsroom. Not bad. Petreski-Seaton? At the moment, I'd probably say Jack Martin. At the moment, I'd say Jack Martin's probably your second best player behind Patrick Cripps from what we see. But anyway, thanks for that, Alan. Over the page, Chris. Chris is a mainstay. Chris will always be there. North's post-match song will go close. The best thing we'll see this year, even if the season gets restarted. I wrote in one of my likes today. No, my dislikes. The Essendon team song. One of the highlights of the weekend was the teams singing their song after the game. North Melbourne and Collingwood were clearly the best. Dermot Brent described it watching Jordan De Goey in the Collingwood huddle as if being at a summer rave party. He had his hands, fingers going up there, and I don't know if I've been to too many rave parties, but I have seen that before. They were bopping, they were bouncing. It was fantastic. Then when North Melbourne came back, and we're going to get on to St Kilda in a second, but when North Melbourne came back and beat the Saints and they were in the rooms, man, were they rocking and rolling. That was one of the highlights of the weekend. And you're right. I hope that takes over the arms, wrapping the arms around. I really do. I think there's going to be a lot of changes, actually. No, not a lot of changes. There's going to be a few, I think, really important. I think this is going to be the end. I think we might stick with 16-minute quarters and time on. Like the first quarter on the weekend went 28 minutes and Thursday night, I noted that down. 28 minutes on 60 minutes and time on. The Tigers did kick a lot of goals. But, yeah, the changes. So, anyway, get up Sunday. What's going to happen today? Saints and North. I picked St Kilda. Geez, their first half. Now, I was on radio at the time, so I was watching it. I watched some highlights. I'm watching it, and I look at it, and I'm moving the ball and thinking, God, have a look at this. This is Blitz football, exactly what Mick McGowan spoke about in Friday's Herald Sun as he previewed the round. Blitz football, full of Blitz footballers. How exciting. But once again, footy doesn't allow people just to run around and do whatever they like. If everyone did that, it would be a very, very boring game to watch. Now, North Melbourne didn't have the runners in the first half, but they hunted and hunted and hunted. They lost 3 players with injury. They had 1 person on the bench, and they were 5 down at half time. And they come back and knock over St Kilda. Benny Cunnington was outstanding again. What a performance. But seriously, what a performance. If your team did that, this is why I love Kangaroo supporters. They are so proud of their team. So proud. And St Kilda supporters today would be so disappointed in their teams. And it is only 1 game. We know that. But the promise, and not the promise, they didn't promise anything, but the hype that we put on them and the confidence which they were speaking about their own improvement, to go 5 up in a 16-minute quarter a game and lose, it was really, really bad. So anyway, there's tackle week 1. I don't know when tackle week 2. It could be next week. I don't know what we're going to do. If we're back, tune in. Probably, I would say proudly, brought to us this year by KFC. So get in the drive-through. Don't get too close. Get a 3-man feed or 3-woman feed and move on. I will hopefully talk to you when round 2 resumes. Take care.